Welcome to the app, Multiplying by 10. Students learn at some point that adding a zero to the right of a whole number multiplies it by 10. Later, when they work with decimal numbers, they learn that a number can be multiplied by 10 by moving the decimal point one digit to the right. This app will help the students understand why this technique works. It's important because we don't want the students to view mathematics as a series of tricks, but rather a world that makes sense. Let's see how the app works. Here we can edit the number we want to work on, like this. We click outside the text area when we're finished. Now let's drag the number onto the screen with this button, and another one underneath it. We'll soon multiply the bottom number by 10, so we want to have the top number for reference. Now let's bring a multiplication by 10 onto the screen by dragging it from this button. Now we place this multiplication on the bottom number. So what did we get? Instead of 3 units, we have 30 units. Instead of 2 tens, we have 20 tens. And instead of 100, we have 10 hundreds. In a class discussion, we should clarify that since each of the parts of the numbers is individually multiplied by 10, the entire number is also multiplied by 10. Now we have some work to do on this number, so that each square will have a single digit. So let's start with the hundreds. We'll drag them out of the number, just like this. Note that a line appeared. When we continue to drag above the line, we see that the 10 hundreds turned into 1,000. Now we bring the 1,000 back to the number and it takes its place. Note that now we must work in the correct order from left to right. So next come the tens. When we drag the 20 tens, only 10 of them are dragged. This makes the process a little longer but more clear. This should, of course, be accompanied with a class discussion with questions such as, what are 10 tens? After the students answer, we drag the 10 tens above the line, so it turns into 100. Then again, we bring the 100 back to the number. Let's continue the process for the remaining 10 tens. And we're left with the 30 units. Let's finish the process. 10 units are a 10, and again, and again. So we saw in this process of multiplying by 10 the effect of adding a zero to the right of the number. This is because the extra zero made the digit that represented the units turn into a digit representing tens. The digit that represented tens now represents hundreds. And the digit that represented hundreds now represents thousands. At this point, you might ask the students about dividing by 10. Dividing by 10 of the bottom number should bring us back to the original number. Therefore, a number can be divided by 10 by removing a zero. Then we can ask about multiplying by 100. This, of course, can be done by multiplying 10 twice or adding 2 zeros. You may revisit this point when dealing with decimal numbers, where we talk about moving the decimal point rather than adding or removing zeros. So this is the explanation for whole numbers. In class, you can use more examples. Let's move on to a new page and show how the app deals with decimal numbers. Let's write a decimal number, 2.4. Let's drag the number onto the screen. Here we see we have room for tenths, hundredths, and thousandths. Like last time, let's create another identical number below it. Now we'll multiply it by 10. Now let's do the regroupings. We'll do this quickly now. Now in class, of course, it should be slower. 10 units turn into 1 unit of 10, and again, 10 tenths turn into 1 unit, and again, and again. If we place the two numbers like this, the 2 below the 2, the 4 below the 4, we can see that the effect of multiplying the number by 10 manifested itself by the decimal point moving one digit to the right. We can understand this effect in the same way as the effect of adding a zero to the right of a number. Each digit represents a value 10 times larger. The 4 that represented 4/10 now represents 4 units. The 2 that represented 2 units now represents 2/10. Again, in the class, of course, you can use additional examples as needed. And that's it. We hope this app facilitates the class discussions and makes the teaching of this topic more effective and engaging. We hope you enjoy it in class. Thank you for watching.